Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Power BI related to DAX. In this video, we are learning calculate DAX function in Power BI. So the calculate function in DAX is one of the most powerful and versatile function used in Power BI. I have uploaded the complete article here and it is used in Power BI, Power Pivot and analysis services. It allows you to modify the filter context of an expression, enabling complex calculations that are otherwise difficult to perform. So in the previous video, we discussed about what is row context and filter context. So if you have not seen that video, please watch that video. It is prior to this video in the playlist. And in that video, we discussed a little bit about calculate function. Here we will discuss more about calculate function. So let's see an example here. So this is our superstore sales dataset. In superstore sales dataset, we have sales 26.9. Say for every order instance, we have a sale amount. Every row here represent a product that was ordered within an order. Okay, so now all these sales are there. If you will add all of these sales, it will give you total sales. Okay, so this is let's have the total sales. So in order to calculate total sales, first let's remove this. In order to calculate total sales, we will go to modeling, create a new measure, and let's call it total sales. Total sales will be nothing but sum of the table name. Here orders is the table name, and in orders we have sales. Okay, so sum of this entire all the rows together is total sales, and it will be created as a measure in the table in which we created it. Using a card, we can see the total sales as well. There are different ways of seeing this data, but let's do it this way. Now if you add date as a filter, okay, so in date you have hierarchy like order date, year, and so on, right? So in date, the name is orders year. If you refer it with the name of the table, it is orders year. But if you refer it with base field, it is year. Okay. So in your table, the dates will be given like this. It will be the regular date format. It is given like this. It is currently set in Indian format, but you can set it in your own formats. So here we usually use M, D and Y, month, date and year, MM, DD, M4Y. So now date is set here. So Power BI will automatically break your date into year, quarter, month and day, and you can use any of them as filter. To use any of them as filter, we will use a slicer. Okay. Uh, I'm taking one second. And in the slicer field we will drag year. Okay, here we have different properties like slicer setting, is it between a vertical list or whatever. Okay, now if we do this, we see data of 2014 only. Okay, if we see this, we see data of 2015 only. This is what we discussed in the last video also, like how row context and filter context work, right? This is the filter context. Although the sale is computed by iterating through all the rows, but in filter context, when the measure is created, it will show dates one by one. So up to this point we saw this. Now this was with the help of a slicer, a filter. Now what we are reading right now is, what we are studying right now is, we have to, we can use a calculated expression. So in DAX we have functions, expressions and queries. DAX functions, if you see the official website also, you will see that there are DAX functions, statements, queries, operators. So that will help you in understanding the formula. So here we have calculate, expression, and then the filter. You can apply as many filters in comma separated way. So filter 1, filter 2 and more. So the key features of calculate function is it modifies the filter context. The primary purpose of calculate is to change the filter context under which the expression is evaluated. This can include adding, removing or modifying filters. So even if the filter is applied, you can remove it or modify it. It can also be used to combine multiple filters. You can also use calculate to apply multiple filters. Suppose you want to select those orders which are of consumer segment and Los Angeles city. So you can apply multiple conditions also. Just give an example, and it can interact with row and filter context. So calculate can transition row context into filter context, making it possible to use row context within a calculated column or measure effectively. So it is very important to understand row context and filter context, which we have explained in the previous examples, and that's why before reading this chapter you have to go through that to understand better. This is the basic usage. Calculate sum of total sales. This is nothing but what we actually calculated, and this is, here they are applying year as 2020, and that's how they are creating a measure. This measure will automatically calculate total sales of year 2020. Let's try to replicate this in our case. In order to replicate this, all you have to do is you have to go to modeling and create new measure, and here you have to write. In our case we will try to get data of 2014 because that's what there in our case. Sales will be replaced with orders, the name of table. Total sales will be replaced with sales, that is the name of our column. And here's the tricky part. In our case it is called order date, but it is year. Okay, so let's try to write only year. When we are writing this when we are writing year, it is giving us a red line. We cannot even select order date. So in our case it is orders order date. Okay, but orders order date is not in the format where we just have year. If you see, it is appearing like this in our table view, and the actual data is not of year, it is actually a full day. So there is a simple function. Okay, okay, let's calculate once again. Let's add one new measure. Sales 2014 is equal to calculate sum orders, sales and sales year. How can we select this? So first of all, write the name of your table, then the name of your column in which you will find your year, and you cannot compare it with 2014 because it will give you an error. It will give you an error because it is not in the specified format. Let's try to run this. The name says, okay, it is saying it is already used for another. Okay, let's write 2015. Doesn't matter. Okay, it is working. Now this is sales 2015. what we will do, we'll drag another card here and we'll try to see the sales of 2015. You will see blank. It is because the whether you select 2015 or 2014. So let's select 2015 actually. Yeah, it is showing blank. Let's delete this so that it will not cause any trouble. Yeah, it is blank. Why is it blank? Because the order date is not being compared properly here, and in order to do that you just have to use another function, that is year. Okay, so year is also a DAX function where you can apply an expression, and here we are applying year, orders, order date. So it will select only year from it, and let's see, and now you see the date. Okay, now let's bring in the filter of date which we brought earlier. So click outside, bring a slicer. In the slicer, let's drag year, go to format, change it to a drop down. See, only this is working, and this is because here we have written 2014. So let's correct all of that, and now it is corrected. We accidentally wrote 2015 instead of 2014 instead of 50. Now you will see what is happening. For 2014 this will show blank because it is data of only 2015. Here we are calculating the total sum for 2014 15. So for 15 it will appear. Okay, for 16 it will not appear. For 17 it will not appear. So this is how calculate function works. This is a simple formula of calculate function. In calculate function, first we write the expression. Expression is an aggregate measure. Okay, what we have to calculate, and then we use a filter. We have selected one filter. We can select other filters also. Suppose we want to see data of 2015 only and region as south only. So orders region is equal to south. Let's try to apply this. This saying cannot find south. Let's see what valid values of region do we have. So we do have region as south. Let's see why it's not there. We actually made a very basic mistake. We always, while comparing, we always have to use double quotes. In Microsoft related most of the products it is there. So we have habit of Python and PHP where we can use them interchangeably. Now let's apply. So for single quotes, we in single quotes we write the name of tables. Okay, that's why it was the error. So now the error is solved, and let's select the year as 2015. Here you are seeing for 2015 and south region we had a total sale of $71,360,000. So this is how calculate function can be used to apply multiple filters, and it is in a way working like a logical operator also, because in logical operator you you can apply multiple conditions, and when all of the conditions are true then only you will see the data. So it's kind of a way as logical operator operates. So I hope you understood the concept. I will provide the link of this complete article also, so that you can in the resource section, so that if you want to read more you can apply. Okay.